What's up, Womack Nostalgia? Dave here with a review of AllDay Project's debut single album, Famous. AllDay Project is a new K-pop group from the Black label who just gave us their first two songs as a public unit, Famous and Wicked. And this group is notable for several reasons. I personally was not really checking or paying attention to them all that much into pre-debut stage of things, but they're the second group to debut on the Black label, of course, an associate company of YG Entertainment. The first group to debut on the Black label, less than a year ago still, was, of course, Meow, which has found a lot of success and some hit songs, despite only a handful of songs being out this far. So the Black label is very quickly getting the ball rolling again with another group, and AllDay Project is furthermore even probably more notable than anything else because they're a co-ed group, 3 women, 2 men. You don't see that in modern K-pop really at all anymore. It's very, very uncommon. I think the group I saw being thrown around as the most recent comparison would be Card with a K from 2017. But co-ed groups, they're just really uncommon, really in the whole modern, Korean K-pop landscape as we see it. If you go back to like the 90s and like first gen stuff, I think it was more of a common thing. And even collabs for that matter are not super common either. You might see more of, this sort of thing on solos, but between groups, they usually, keep it one-sided here gender-wise. So that I think is simply put just a novelty factor that will bring people to this group, and I think more casual observers such as myself will continue to see how it goes, see if this group can sustain success. As for the members of this group, there is some people that I think are notable for like hardcore fans. Young Seo was in the Islet lineup, then dropped out 2 months before that group debuted, so I think she was the most outwardly famous, being on that a reality show that spawned Islet, for Hive and whatnot. I think there's some other people like Annie is from a famous commercial family here. Tarzan, one of the male dancers, he was a dancer in the New Jeans Supernatural video, some other stuff as well. So these people have kind of been around. Some of them were known as trainees, when people were paying attention to what Meow might become, all that. So nothing, I guess, like super. Nobody's like super famous out of this, but some people are not completely out of nowhere either. Either way, what we have is again 2 songs and only 2 songs at that, so it's not a whole lot to go off of, which is par for the course at this point with K-pop releases in general and especially debuts. But AllDay Project's debut single album, Famous, is nothing too inspiring, unfortunately. I think the most appealing aspect of the music that this co-ed group is giving you is that they're really trying to put a hip-hop forward approach with the sound. Unfortunately, I did not really care for a lot of the flows with this. This felt very unpolished from the rap perspective, and I found it just kind of uninspiring. The single Famous definitely has that kind of Latin leaning drums that we're hearing more and more of in K-pop, and I like the way this song builds up. It's definitely a performance leaning song that they made to be performed. But I gotta say, like Teddy Park and the Black label, I mean, we continue to have the same criticisms about the sounds and styles that the music he's responsible for. When you take away the novelty of this being the most significant co-ed K-pop group in many years, what you're left with is music that doesn't really stand out. I think the fact that it's pretty rap forward between the 2 songs does appeal to me as a rap fan and a fan of K-pop rap. So I hope they continue to go down that road. I think just need to hear, a better version. The single Famous, again, I like the way it builds up, over those Latin drums. That first rap verse, I think, is pretty mediocre. The flow is just very loose, just not polished. The second rap verse, that time there's like some acoustic strings on top of those drums. Sounds a little bit better. Has the classic YG style dance break on the outro. It's a song that I think this is the better written of the 2 songs. I do think the performers have some presence. They have some attitude in fits and starts. And I think the writing on Famous is better than the writing on the second single, Wicked, which is just a lot sparser and kind of builds up to a very, I think, middling, light chorus, unfortunately. And that's a song that has these like twitchy drums, and I think the drum loops really lend itself to putting all these verses on top of each other, and I think the rap's a little better on Wicked, but again, the flows are just not super impressive to me. So yeah, again, I'm more curious just about like what happens for this group. How big can they be? Like, are they gonna take off the way Meow did pretty quickly under the Black label? Is that where we're going? Will they break the trend of co-ed groups? Obviously, K-pop is rapidly changing and exceedingly mainstream outside of the Korean music space at this point. So just because co-ed groups didn't work before does not mean they can't work now by any means. It's just something we don't have a lot of data points for, so we'll see what happens. But let me know, what you think of AllDay Project's first 2 songs. Are you pretty mixed like me? Do you like them more? Let me know either way. And for more music reviews, more K-pop reviews, subscribe. I'll see you next time.